So your EB1C is approved and you have an adjustment of status interview coming up and your case is not normal, you're going to want to watch this video. Hi, this is Joseph Zhang. I'm the managing partner here at Zhang & Associates. We've been doing this for 30 plus years. We're passionate about solving legal problems in a creative way. That's what we are. And today I want to share with you a super unique case where we did an EB1C approval in an executive who turns out to be an Uber driver. This is not an Uber executive. This is an executive who is also an Uber driver. So a little background on this case, just to get the EB1C approved was crazy hard, but we did it. And we're gonna have a separate video just on that. He started a business, it got closed down, he merged with another business, built it up, and eventually was challenged with a crazy NOID, notice of intent to deny, and then it got approved. Miracle. But now he has to face the interview, right? So starting a few years ago, now all employment-based applications, EB1C, EB2, EB3, they all have to go through interviews to get a green card. In the past, you didn't have to, but now you do. Problem is, he doesn't speak English. He is an executive of a very large fashion and food company, but he has translators, he has all these employees, they do the work, he just has to make the decisions. He doesn't speak English, so he needs a translator. Second big problem is when we were preparing him for the application, going through his 485 application, we're looking at his tax filings, we found out that he was also a Uber driver. This is not normal. For any reasonable person, when they see you are an executive of a company, you're not just like a mid-managed employee, you're not just like an entry-level employee, you are an executive of an international corporation and you're driving an Uber? What the heck? And it wasn't just like a small, he drive an Uber once a week. It was in the 4 digits, right? It was a substantial amount of driving. What is an executive using his precious time driving an Uber? How do you explain that? And he can't even explain it in English. So our team came together. It was a very difficult ordeal. We got the other executives at the office come in, explain the situation to us. We have a translator. We have an attorney that is going to go with him to the interview. I was the one who prepared the entire application, so I was talking to everybody about it. How are we going to explain it? How are we going to prepare him? And so doing the Uber rides, it's more so for him to understand American life. It's more so for him to understand how to speak English better. That's just part of his learning. He does that as a hobby. He used to do that back in Asia for fun, so he wanted to do it here. He has a really nice car. He definitely doesn't need the money. The ownership of the company is really large, and there's a Chinese saying where if you're an emperor and you stoop yourself low to serve the public, that is actually a very prestigious thing, as opposed to what, you are such a high executive and yet you are doing such a lowly thing. It's not something to blame, it's something to be actually proud of. There's so many things that went behind the scenes on this that I didn't understand, but once I kind of understood everything, prepared him for it, then prepared the application and practiced every single week for the interview before the actual interview. Then on the day of the interview, he went in with a translator that he's met with 10 times before the actual interview. His attorney, who's been practicing with how he will respond to different things, and we did a mock interview at least 10 times before the actual interview, and then himself and with all the documentation. Now, in a 485 adjustment of status interview, the officer really should just be focused on the application itself and not so much on the EB1C I-140 application. They're not supposed to dig into, are you an executive manager? What are your duties? What are your international duties? What does your company do in depth? They're not that officer. But if they see something that's unique, something that's puzzling, then they have the authority to go back and review the application. So that's what he was terrified of. He's terrified of going through the interview process, the officer digging through the tax return, seeing the Uber salary, seeing the time that he spent doing Uber, and to question, hey, that means you only worked as a CEO for this many hours. How were you able to do that? And why did you do this? It can all be explained, but it's just much more difficult. Inevitably, the question came up. It was answered, and the officer was totally cool with it. It was like, oh wow, that's super awesome. Yeah, I drive an Uber too. And then they kind of just talked and laughed, and things were okay. But we were just paranoid. And at the end of the day, the client was super thankful because he felt like he got lucky with a nice officer. He felt like he got lucky because they were able to understand the explanation, and he was deeply, deeply grateful for the amount of practice that we went through, because maybe he could have had the same luck, but if he explained it the wrong way, it could have led to a bad consequence, right? So this is a super unique situation where I've never encountered another executive. This is sort of like his hobby, but he was able to do it and explain it away. Super grateful, considering that this EB1C, from the L1 to EB1C to the approval of the green card, took over 7 years from beginning to end, and he finally got the green card in hand, and everybody is super happy. So that's the crazy interview story I have for you today. If you guys have any crazy EB1C or any crazy adjustment of status application stories, feel free to share and let us know in the comments below. Preparing for these interviews is key, because we spend so much time preparing for the actual application, but that interview itself is only about 15-20 minutes. And if you don't prepare those 15-20 minutes well, your entire case can be jeopardized, or it could be prolonged for another couple years. So let us know if you have any questions. We're happy to jump in and dive in to discuss it with you. If you guys like this EB1C video, please subscribe. We're constantly producing new videos like this, dissecting the different nuance and the cases that we experience, sharing it with the public. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. And if you have a case specific question, feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to talk to you about it. Thank you. Bye-bye.